What's up, San Diego? Thank you for tuning in. Super excited to have Dustin Matthews on the show today. As you can tell, we are not on set and I am working from home. Lazy co-host on the couch. Once again, she's about to get fired. Anyways, Dustin Matthews is the CEO, Chief Education Officer at Wealthfit.com. Dropped some amazing nuggets about what we can do during the COVID pandemic just to put ourselves in a better position so when we come out, we're stronger. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let's check it out. Thank you for joining What's Up San Diego. I am so excited to have Dustin Matthews on the show, the CEO of Wealthfit. I think he's a perfect guest for today's environment. We have so much going on with the COVID, and thanks for being here, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, I do want to add one point of clarity. It's always funny. People do see the title Chief Education Officer, and it's a CEO. But I want to give love to my partner, Andy. He's our CEO. But nonetheless, excited to be here. Same initials. Excited to be here and share. And, it's fun times that we're experiencing. And I think this topic, no matter what time, is a good time to talk about what we'll jam on today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, any time is a good time. 100% agree with you. But I think now it helps resonate with people a little bit more. Because you have the time to educate yourself.
Yep.
I have a lot of kids at home. It's hard for me to do anything. It's like days are long, or days seem long, but weeks are short. Time is just doesn't mean anything right now.
Yeah.
But also because, unfortunately, a lot of just society doesn't have that reserve, and it's tough to just get food for some people. It's tough to do all that. So kind of creating some of those habits and being able to go through and just pull up last month's credit card statement, or maybe not March because I was still kind of, part of the COVID, but look January, February and see what am I spending my dollars on right now?
Yeah.
And also just to kind of build up your infrastructure. If you've always been wanting to start this side hustle, which I know you're really big on, is launch it. Some of the best businesses are launched in recessions, in times like this. You have time to deep dive into Facebook and deep dive into, marketing and getting all the back end stuff. Might be hard to get your DBA and licenses because counties are shut down. I don't know the whole thing on that, but getting that business plan. And what's your kind of take on that, Dustin?
Well, I think, like you said, this is a fun time. There's a lot of opportunity to do the things that you've kind of been thinking about. Man, I'd like to do that one day. Well, you kind of find yourself with some time on your hands. And I know all the parents, though, may be throwing the tomatoes at me because, they're like, I got 3 kids at the house. And it's like, I don't really have all the time.
I'm a teacher doing homeschool, which
that's right.
I'm literally doing, plus business, plus my wife's a teacher. So she's teaching online. It's madness. It's great. But
Yeah, and I think if you could squirrel away some time, you can see, especially like you were talking about, Luke, if there are people that are in a dire situation right now, it's because they, hadn't taken the time to invest in, their education. And so really the conversation today is no matter where you're at financially, it's how can you be smarter? How can you remove that stress? And I like to start with knowing where you're at. You talked about the credit card bill. If you have the opportunity to go and do that now, print that thing out or go through it, and you'd be amazed. As someone coached you up to do, you got your essential and your non-essentials, and you really start to look at things. And I'm not here to say throw away the Starbucks or throw away Netflix. I'm just saying what's important to you, and can you get yourself into a point where you can put that money to work for you? So in times like this or any time, man, you've got money coming in through your investments or through a side hustle or through some other means. And so that's the message we like to put out there from Wealthfit.
No, absolutely. And I love that. And I love how, creating that second stream of income is crucial. And with the internet right now, you can do anything you want. It's crazy. Normally we're meeting in person, but we adapted. Now we're meeting virtually, and hopefully we'll grab coffee in May or whatever it is, and shake hands. Would love to, but right now you got to adapt to the times.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different opportunities to do, even though, there's some in this moment right now where it's like, well, you can't go walk dogs to make money, but you can go on and you can teach online, you can take surveys. I mean, there's so many different things. You could start that online business, a Shopify. There's so many different things. And what a lot of people don't realize is they probably have a skill set that someone is willing to pay for. Whether that's a big company that is like, trying to figure out like maybe we shouldn't hire, but we do need this skill set to execute on this. Or maybe it's a small business that's like, listen, we can't bring someone on. However, I need someone to write sales copy, or I need someone to make outbound phone calls, or whatever it is, send text messages.
Yep.
There's no shortage of opportunities. And I say this, don't be perfect. Like, start ugly. My friend Chris Krimitsos has a book called Start Ugly. And, this is that
So true, though.
opportunity to do it. Like, no one's going to fault you for it. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all reinventing in this time frame. And so go out there, start some things. If you fall on your face, that's okay. Go try something else. Like, now is a great opportunity. And realistically, anytime is a great opportunity to do this. And so
Absolutely.
get out
And
there.
just to kind of resonate on that a little bit more is, a lot of people, I have super close friends who are just so afraid of failure. I'm like, it's not you failing as a person.
Yeah.
It's a learning opportunity because now now not what to do.
Yeah.
And you're paying for your education. You're never going to have everything perfect to go out there and launch it. And, personally, I'm all, open book. I'll expose myself right now is, I've been working with people for like putting on kind of first time home buyer, first time seller seminars. And we were always trying to get things great. It's like, no, we're just going to, like, I set a date. We're going to launch it. We're doing one digitally. Let's get people out there. People are like, want to know this stuff. They're not ready right now, but 2 months when they are ready, it's like they're at home. They have time to like do some of those honeydew projects and get
Yep.
everything made. And it's just taking actionable steps. And the other one thing, this is kind of going down a different direction right now, but is don't try and take on too much. I think that is sometimes because like squirrel and I'm like gone and I hear this other great idea. And I think that's a lot of people's problems, but like
Yeah.
a doing, done board. It's like put all your great ideas, like I want to do all this stuff, but
Yeah.
have 2 to 5. I am working on these projects, if not less, depending
Yeah.
on like the type of projects you're doing, and go all in on those and don't move on until you're done with something.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't even know where that came from.
I love it. Well, what I want to add into that is most certainly like look at those projects. And I would say if folks are interested in this sort of money conversation, like what do I do right now in this moment to make sure I have enough funds, and like how can I take that with me into the future? Because like you have the opportunity to flex any muscle right now, or build up any muscle. And so what I like to say is like, listen, if you're find yourself like in a hole, maybe you're in a pickle, like it's tough, you got to know where you're at. And so taking a look at those, statements, taking and looking like, where's the money moving? And so I love to say this, Luke, old school, whether that's pen and paper, that may be a little too old school, but at least like go into your, phone, or go into your bank account, download something and do an Excel spreadsheet and like, just watch where the money's going. And like, I used to hate that. I'm a builder, I'm a creator. And so like my answer to everything was like, go, put together an offer online, go do a seminar, pick up the phone and call somebody and make a sale. Because every time I was like looking, but I had never done that in my life. And so, when you got a hole in your ship, you can keep paddling and paddling, but slowly over time, like you're going to run out of energy and you're going to fall in. And so I think now is a great opportunity. If you've never done it, understand how your money's moving out. What are you spending on? How's the money coming into you? And maybe it's only one source. Well, that might tell you something like, maybe I should diversify, have that side hustle. Maybe I should have some stocks or some real estate, once things are rocking. And so start there. Now, once you have like an understanding of that, your cash flow, what I would say is if it's not enough, now you need to do something about it. And so go start a side hustle, go start a business. Once you do that, kind of step 3 in this process, if you will, is now put that money to work for you. And so put it to work into stock investments, which you can do on your phone. You can read up on, you can invest in cryptocurrency, or it had a little nice little ride because people didn't know what's going, gold and silver. So all these things, right? So, know where you're at, get smarter about how your money moves, too. If you're not happy with it, go ask for an increase in salary. Now's not the time to do that. But once things shake out, you want to negotiate, or go control your own destiny, start that side hustle, start that business. And then 3, put that money to work for you.
Absolutely. And just to kind of strain on this a little more is I know, like, I personally, I hated busting out those credit card statements and looking at what the money's going to. But unless you know where you are, how do you know what direction you need to go in? It's like a ship never leaves a harbor without having a final destination.
That's
this
right.
ship just leaves. It's like they might reach their destination 1 in 1,000 times, but like nobody would do that. And how do you create a path, a plan, a trajectory without knowing where you are? Yes, it's going to suck for some people. Hey, it might be like, damn, I'm actually way better than I thought I was too. You never know. But like, if anything from this whole thing, I think that would be, I would say, like the number one thing to go look at.
Yeah.
Right now, you have the time to do it. Doesn't take, I would say 3-4 hours, depending on, how complex, your
yeah, I would say the first time you do it. I mean, there's apps to do it too. And like, I want to kind of chime in on that. The apps, it can be sort of mesmerizing. It's cool. There's all these features. It can be like when I first started doing this, and I had been incredibly successful before, never really paid attention. Like I knew like the numbers, but I didn't understand.
You're talking like the Mint apps or like some of those other?
So get those apps, like those are good, but I even say go down to the spreadsheet level, because, one of the things I as an entrepreneur, one of the things I wanted to get good at was writing copy, persuasive communication. And so I was brought up in that, like, if you wanted to write one of these nice, fancy sales letters that actually gets people to buy stuff online, one of the instructors told me, my mentor told me, listen, you need to rewrite it in pencil by hand. And when you do that, it's weird. It talks to you. Like, reading is even though it's active, it's semi-passive. You kind of read something, but when you physically rewrite word for word something, it's how you learn something. And so
something different in your mind.
Yeah, in that same way, you got to do that with your finances. So getting the app is good. It's a step in the right direction. But like I would say, if you've never done it before and you've struggled with it and you hate it, embrace the suck, go and do it, because you're going to learn some things that, like, just looking at an app and saying, oh, $70 went to gas or whatever, like, you're not going to learn as much just doing that. And so know where you're at, and you have an opportunity to do that now. And that's something you'll carry with you for life.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And then one thing that we kind of just briefly talked about, but with ad copy, how critical. I am not the greatest writer. I always have my wife like read over my descriptions before I like post it, because spelling is just not my thing. Even with Grammarly, it's like, it's not my thing. But the ability to write compelling ad copy, I would say, is top 3 skills in this world right now, especially if you're trying to create that side hustle. Because if you can't get people to click, or you can't get people, even if like, and I don't want to say that in a bad way, if you're a snake salesman but you have good ad copy to get sales, but like if you are providing a valuable service, like what you're doing with Wealthfit, or like advertising something that's going to be beneficial to the person who's clicking on it, and they don't click, they can't find you. So you can't stress that enough. And how did you kind of, I guess, again, getting off topic, but that's just the way things go sometimes,
let's
get better at ad copy, or do you outsource some of that, or what's kind of your
Well, I want to share this with you. Like, I think, whether you're writing ad copy, I think communication is important. So no matter what you do, it could be your spouse, it could be the kids at home, it can be business entrepreneurship, it maybe you're a charity or you have a cause. Understanding how to get people to take action is important. And obviously, like, we want to use this information for good. And so whether you're writing an ad or you're doing a podcast or you're, making a speech, right? You think of some of the best speeches, there's something like you can communicate one way and get a result, or you communicate more elegantly, you can communicate more persuasively and get a much bigger result. And so that's what this is about. And so how did I get good at it? I first had that realization. No matter what I do in life, like if I can understand how, for me, it was starting off with writing words on paper to get people to buy things. But I said to myself, I said, listen, if I could just understand the skill and master it, get better at it, I can do anything. I can go into nonprofits. I can start a business. I could be a speechwriter. Like it just, like, great communicators that can get people excited about something I think it's most certainly a top skill. How did I get great at it? Just by doing it and just being a student of the game. And so I read a couple books, had a mentor. Dan Kennedy is a big mentor of mine. co-writing a book with him. But I just did it, and I put the time in, like rewriting letters by hand. Like that wasn't fun. Waking up early in the morning and it taking me like really weeks to do it, because it takes forever to rewrite like a 16-page, sales letter.
Oh, wow.
But that's what I did. And then I tested it, like just like anything in life, you got to take action, start ugly. It's going to be bad. Some people might make fun of you. You're not going to get the results you want, but just keep moving forward and getting feedback, because if you never get on the field, you're never going to know.
And again, that kind of full circle to what we were talking about is you can't get it perfect, because until you're out there, you might think, hey, this is the perfect message, but you get no responses. But you make some small little minor tweaks, which you would never know that you needed to make those tweaks unless you put it out there. You failed if you didn't get responses. But again, that is a learning experience.
Yeah.
And I know like Seth Godin, he talks about it all the time. It's like, how did he get good at it? He wrote thousands and thousands and thousands of copies. Like, that's how you get good at it.
Yeah.
And if you did, for heaven forbid, like lose everything, like you have that skill. And, some of the most successful people in the world, a lot of them have gone bankrupt or have lost everything. But you can take all their dollars from them, but you can't take the skills that they learned along the way. And I think that is the most valuable thing. That's why books, podcasts, there's no excuse. Like every time driving, there's some great podcasts out there. Obviously What's Up San Diego, but like the Tom Bilyeu's, and my left, Annie Frisella's, like I've had a couple other ones that I'm like listening to now. There's so much great information out there. It's never the lack of information, it's just how you implement and go for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the story of my life, brother. I mean, you summed it up. Like I'm just a student of the game, and I think when you adopt that mindset, you just grow and grow and grow. And it's interesting because I up until about 2 years ago, I had been incredibly successful as an entrepreneur, and not to say I'm not as successful. What I'm trying to communicate here is that up until that point, I never really looked at finances. Yes, we filed taxes. Yes, I knew how much money was coming in and out of my life personally, and then out of the business's life. But I was just like, I'd always hire somebody, or I'd always like go into that meeting like, oh, like a necessary evil. And so once I started to embrace the numbers and started sitting down and putting the reps in, which is I hated doing in the beginning. I totally hated it. But to your point, Luke, of like, listen, you got to put the reps in. And I think that's the real secret. Everyone wants the shortcut, but the shortcut is this, that the magic button, the magic pill, it's put yourself in an environment to put reps in. And so I look back over my life and my career, and I did product launches, and I worked, in high pressure situations. I got to put in a ton of reps. So I had that opportunity to get good fast, because I had so many reps, and I was really bad in the beginning. And so that, my friend, is like the real secret, is how can you put yourself in an environment where it's high pressure, high, cooker situation, but you're getting a bunch of reps in and learning from your mistakes, and then you're arriving there.
Absolutely. And that's so spot on. I never really thought about it like that, but that's how I learn best too, is just consistency in doing it. And now it's just like, it's second nature. It just comes to me. And I'm sure now when you're looking at your balance sheet, or you're looking at some financial statements, like, hey, that number looks off. It looks about, it's like 20%. What's going on right there? And you could just see that without like digesting the whole thing. And you would never, ever be able to do that if you didn't put in those reps ahead of time.
That's exactly right. I remember back to my previous business, and I would just look at it and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Like, and then how much money's coming in, what's going out. But now I have that cognition. I'm like, hey, that looks off, and maybe nothing's wrong, but like, if you bring that curiosity to it, remember, this is your money, whether it's your business or your personal life, this is your money. When you bring that curiosity
too,
or your clients,
people, like you owe them a fiduciary duty to protect them. And they're too, I don't want to say too lazy. I guess that's not the right word for it, but how do I put that? But you owe a certain, I expect a certain amount of professionalism, and when I'm trusting somebody to, I personally help people buy, sell homes, and invest in the real estate market specifically, which for the most part is people's largest purchases, sales of their entire life, other than, people with some large businesses, etc. One little mistake can cost people thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And right now I'm watching over 2 hours a day, I would say, of just top people in their field digesting. Like the mortgage market is literally changing on like an hourly basis. Products are being pulled. What's going on with inventory? What's supply? What's demand? What's how all this? And people are asking me, and now it's not like, this isn't my opinion. I'm not telling you like, well, my opinion is we're going to be fine. It's like, statistically, X, Y, and Z is happening. In the past, this happened. This was the result from it. This is the differences between the two. And it's unless you have that data, you can't answer.
Yeah, you know, this is a great opportunity to just get in and learn a lot. And we may never see like what we're experiencing, or by the time you hear this, you know, like what we've gone through ever again on our lifetime. It may, you know, this is likely,
hopefully,
you know,
we never see it again in our lifetime.
Hopefully. And, you know, but things are cyclical as I walk more days on this earth. I find like things are more cyclical. And so maybe it's not, you know, this particular thing that we're experiencing now, but there is going to be upturns in the market. There's going to be downturns in the market. And so the things that we learn here, although they may never get as bad as this, hopefully, right, fingers crossed, you're going to be able to take away and make better money moves and make better moves for your family and for yourself by just putting that time in and educating and saying, like, how can I approach a situation differently? You know, how can I hedge against something like this in the future?
Absolutely. So what's your opinion on, you know, the top 1 to 3 things? You know, you're obviously in the Wealthfit, you know, helping people grow businesses, helping, you know, be more fiscally responsible. What would you say is, you know, the top 1 to 3 things that, you know, people should start exploring right now?
Well, I mentioned it, but I want to make sure people really have that plan. Yeah, drive it home for sure. So, you know, again, what's interesting about this is I realize like there are a lot of different San Diegans and beyond that are going to be listening into the show. And so everyone's at a different walk of life. There may be incredibly savvy, successful business owners coming in, and what I'm about to share may be too simplified. And then there are some people that are just getting started to this conversation and saying, you know, I've been meaning to do this, and it always seemed like there was no money at the end of the month. I need to be savvier and wiser about that. And so no matter where you're at in this spectrum, we can all take a look at this. And sometimes it helps to hear the foundational. So step 1 is you got to know where you're at. And so, you know, getting an app on your phone, doing the spreadsheet thing, looking at your finances on a monthly basis, weekly basis. If you're just getting started and it just overwhelms you, just take a look on it. You know, you don't have to go every day, but taking a look, understanding where's the money going? Do you need that expense? Is that something that you could cut? Like, what if you picked up the phone? I just recently picked up the phone and negotiated down, because people are more open than they've ever been, different terms and different payments. And so you can do that. A lot of us never think to do that. We're not taught to haggle or negotiate, you know, like some countries are, you know, compared to the US. And so a lot of people don't even think to do that. And so knowing where you're at, getting real clear on that. And then 2 is, if you're not happy with the income you have, what are you doing about it? So go start that side hustle. I mean, you know, people can check out wealthfit.com and they'll see we have over 101 different side hustles that you can do. So if you're looking for ideas like, gosh, Dustin, like, you know, who's going to pay me to do something? I mean, no matter your skill set, there's something that you can do. And I want to warn you, I want to caution you, you probably you'll check that out, you'll see a list, and you might say, well, I don't know. And then that fear starts to creep in, and like, who's going to pay me for that? Do I really want to do that? And I'm like, I get it. But if you have that goal of, here you are, and you want to make X amount more money, then you just got to fail forward fast and jump in. And then finally, once you build up that surplus of things to do, you know, additional income streams with a side hustle, then you want to put that money to work for you. And oftentimes, you know, real estate is a great vehicle. I'm a big proponent of real estate, have rental properties in my portfolio. So you want to have stuff like that. You want to have some stocks. You want to put your money to work for you. Something that I wish I had learned earlier on in my career. For me, it was like, I wanted to be the rainmaker. So it always required me making it rain, which was very ego driven and not smart in the long term. And so that's okay. I got to where I am, and now I'm pivoting and realizing, like, listen, I can still make it rain, but I should have other things making it rain for me, so I don't have to show up if I don't want to. And I know that's going to resonate with a lot of folks. And so that really is, at a high level, the 3-step, you know, plan. The tactical nature, that's what we provide on Wealthfit. So if someone wants to figure out the stock market, great, check that out. If you want to understand life insurance policies, which I love life insurance policy, I use it as a, you know, way to deploy money into investments, and I do that tax free. You know, so these are all, like, you know, different strategies folks can check out at Wealthfit.
Absolutely. And it's just wealthfit.com if they want to take a look.
Yeah, wealthfit.com. And I would say this, if you are like, semi-interested in this conversation, we have a course, and I always ask people to watch like the first 15 minutes of it. It's called Wealth Building 101, and it sort of lays out this methodology and like what's possible in this, we call it the Wealthfit plan. No matter where you're at in the spectrum. And so if folks want to get access to that, that's wealthfit.com/Dustin, and they can get access to a free course. Normally we charge for courses, but we want to give it out for free so people can have at least some awareness of like, what is the plan I should follow? And then tactically,
view of what options are even out there. Some people don't know, like, what should I be looking at?
Exactly.
So, well, let's talk. I got to talk a little bit about San Diego. So I know you're in the Mission Hills area right now. What are some of your, what drew you to San Diego, favorite restaurants, any kind of hidden gems that you know about that we could share?
Oh man, I don't know if they're hidden. So I'm 2 years to San Diego. I grew up on the East Coast in Tampa, Florida. So I'm new. For us, one of the things that the fam loves to do is we live in Mission Hills right on the top of Old Town. So we like take the cart down with the kids, which is so easy going down that big hill on Juan. And then we go down to either Harney Sushi or any of the, Mexican restaurants that are down there. Cafe Coyote, I got to give
so much good food. Oh yeah.
And it's funny, before I moved here, I don't feel like I was a tortilla chip eater, but like now I can't get enough. It's so crazy. I was fighting it for the first couple of months because I think I like to eat clean, and I'm like, I don't know if tortilla chips, like a lot of them are going to be good. But anyway, so I love going down. We grab a drink, we grab dinner with the fam down in Old Town typically, and then I got to face the music and I got to push that stroller up the hill. So I get my workout in.
You're working out those tortilla chips. So.
That's right. That's what's going through my head as I'm pushing up the hill and, getting my exercise game.
Old is a son, daughter?
I got 3. I got 2 boys and a girl, baby girl.
Nice. Yeah. Congrats on that. How old?
5, almost 3, and almost 1.
So you got your hands full too, brother. I know. I'm kind of same boat. I got 4. Love them all, and just trying to. I know you can't think a face this young can have that many.
But, doing well, sir.
Well, perfect. So if anybody wants to follow you, on Instagram, what's your handles?
Yeah, for sure. It's at the Dustin Matthews, and it's the unique way to spell Matthews. So that's 1 T, not 2. And so at the Dustin Matthews. You can also check out at Wealthfit as well on Instagram. And then very same way, if you just type that into Google, you'll find my website, you'll find Wealthfit, all sorts of stuff. So I encourage people, reach out. You got a money challenge, you got a money opportunity in front of you, like reach out. I'm happy to add value where I can, point you in the right direction. Love the community here, and just love paying it forward and educating people onto what's possible these days.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Dustin, for being on the show. Dropped so many great nuggets. I kind of go off on tangents sometimes, so thank you for. I love it. So everybody, I would definitely check out wealthfit.com. Now is kind of that time. We all have time to either figure out just how to be a little more fiscally responsible, get ideas to create extra revenue streams, and let's come out of this stronger than we went into it. So again, thank you very much for being on the show, Dustin.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Much. Thank you so much for tuning in to Waz Up San Diego from my house. Co-host, of course, is sleeping on the couch next to me. She's quiet today, so sorry, folks. She didn't make a better appearance, but I will see you next week.
Thanks so much for tuning into Waz Up San Diego. So grateful to have Dustin Matthews on the show today. Make sure you check out wealthfit.com or follow him on Instagram at the Dustin Matthews. That is with 1 T. If you have any questions, any suggestions for guests, please feel free to email me at wazupsandiego@gmail.com or check us out online at wazupsandiego.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.